Tonight, Bentonville schools honoring the legacy of a beloved educator. Jack Loyd, the Bentonville High School principal, died March 20th. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer went to his celebration of life and tells us what Lloyd leaves behind.
He meant a lot to a lot of people.
There wasn't a dry eye in the audience Tuesday night, honoring the life of Principal Jack Loyd.
Jack lived each day full of spirit and made everyone around him a better person.
But there was some laughs too. Many calling Jack the life of the party.
He was determined he was going to bring a live tiger to a football game, homecoming. He was going to just get his Harley Davidson. He was going to put the mascot on the back of his Harley.
You could say black and gold was in Jack's blood. He was a lifelong Bentonville Tiger from elementary all the way to high school and spent 34 years on staff. Chris Hutchins, the current athletic director for BHS, but a longtime friend of Lloyd's, says there wasn't a more committed person.
He believed in service, for sure. He believed in laughter and having a great time. Being a born Tiger and graduate Tiger, that was important to him. And when he came principal at Bentonville High School, just supporting the kids.
So Jack's legacy will live on. His wife and children established the Jack Loyd Memorial Scholarship. It'll go to a Bentonville High School senior.
He loved his family, he loved the kids, and he didn't hide that fact either. He talked about it and was proud of it. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger.
In Bentonville, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
To learn more about the Jack Loyd Memorial Scholarship, you can visit our website at 5newsonline.com. LaFleur County voters approving an emergency services sales tax tonight, with 60% of voters casting ballots for the increase. The 0.3% sales tax will be used to increase funding for emergency services in the county. Fort Smith City directors are inviting Trump cabinet leaders to come talk about the consent decree. That decree is forcing the city to spend millions of dollars on sewer improvements. Directors tonight approved an official invite to the Vice President, U.S. Attorney General, and the EPA Director to visit Fort Smith.
I've had good inclination that if we pass this, there's a good chance that one or both will come, or their deputy directors right underneath them will be coming. They understand, the EPA and DOJ understands our issues.
I think this is a good move tonight and just a piece of an overall pie of communication with all these individuals.
We'll, of course, keep you updated if this invite is accepted. Today on the floor of the Arkansas House, lawmakers took a moment to recognize Morgan Nick and her mom, Colleen, along with the foundation that honors her name. This June will mark 30 years since Morgan Nick's abduction from a ball field in Alma. Morgan Nick Foundation, named in her honor, continues to help law enforcement search for missing people. Today's resolution recognized Colleen Nick and the foundation's efforts in the prevention and recovery of missing and exploited children. Another dramatic standoff in the state capitol over building a new state prison in Franklin County. A bill to set aside $750 million for that project failed a Senate vote today. Rebecca Brown takes us through today's debate.
It's an outcome many didn't expect to see.
By a vote of 19 yay, 10 nay, 2 not voting for present, Senate Bill 354 fails.
But one that quickly became a reality at the state capitol. The bill to allocate $750 million and use it to build a prison in Franklin County failed in the full Senate Tuesday afternoon.
I understand that the members want to be engaged in this process as it moves forward, regardless of what happens with this appropriation. And you're going to have the ability to do that.
The bill's sponsor, Republican State Senator Jonathan Dismang, says the vote is a setback. The development comes as lawmakers continue expressing concerns over what they call, quote, the real price tag of the plan.
Going down this mega prison, mega financial death spiral built upon lies, deception, and gross incompetence is not the first step in the process that we should do.
But I can't vote for this appropriation. I understand it's appropriation and it's not funding. But it's a bad business decision. And I'm not going to be responsible a year or 2 years from now When we spend $750 million, we got the most beautiful, up-to-date, modern facility. We came in under budget.
But Senate President Pro Tem Bart Hester feels differently.
They should be in prison, but there is no room. And I hope the rest of you don't spend the rest of your lives driving down an Officer Apple or an officer whatever, or just maybe it's a friend of yours, maybe a schoolmate, maybe a coworker, and maybe they don't get the privilege of having a highway named after them. But I'm telling you, the Shauna Cashes are in every one of our districts right now. Every one of us know it. We've got to have room, and I'm begging you to not have something horrible happen in your district when we could have made a difference today.
At the Capitol, Rebecca Brown, 5 News.
A consultant, by the way, hired by the State Department of Corrections estimated the cost of the prison at $825 million. Because it is still a budget bill, sponsors can keep bringing it back for more votes as they try to get the 27 votes needed to pass in the Senate. Tonight, a federal judge has struck down a law in Arkansas that would require social media companies to verify the age of its users. NetChoice, a trade association made up of several online companies like Meta and X, brought the lawsuit against Arkansas. In his ruling, the judge said the protections afforded under the First Amendment also extend to social media. State Attorney General Tim Griffin says he respected the ruling and was still deciding on if the state will appeal. Trial of a Crawford County mother is happening this week in Van Buren. Rachel Dukes charged with murder for the death of her child. The jury in the case was officially seated today and 6 witnesses took the stand. Duke's child died in March of last year. According to investigators, the child was exposed to methamphetamine in its bottle. An autopsy report also showed the child had a non-fatal skull fracture. One mom shares a startling experience at her local Walmart of an alleged attempted kidnapping. This, along with other alleged abductions, have been talked about on Facebook in recent weeks. She says she heard a blood-curdling scream on the parking lot at the Walmart on Joyce in Fayetteville the evening of March 22nd. She claims she heard a man screaming for help and saw him get pulled into a car before the car sped away. That's when she called 911.
An incident where some people had been, reveling a little bit too heavily, had maybe been intoxicated, having a good evening, and someone made some careless statements and activities. His friends were trying to corral him back up and get him into a vehicle, and so it was not a case of an abduction.
Sergeant Mock encourages you, though, to be mindful of what you share online and be sure to report any crimes you're aware of to your local police department.